We had 11 on our property, and then we also walked along the coastline, probably a kilometer down the coastline, and we discovered 16 more in that 1 kilometer.
So it would have been 27. It looked to me like they were sort of averaging about 20 feet apart.
Yeah, I'd say averaging, although on our property we did have a cluster where it was probably 5 or 6 within 20 feet.
27 young seals, all either beheaded or something had taken hide off of their skull or some variation.
Yeah, correct.
And that the head appeared to be the only wound on any of these pups.
Correct. Some of them had holes in the side of them, although we believe that's just from seagulls and scavengers pecking at them.
Have you ever heard of 27 young seals being beheaded or having their skull hide taken off?
Not even one headless seal. And I've lived here my whole life. What could have caused this and why now and not any other time in the past 21 years? So it was more just asking questions of experts of what possibly could have caused this. And the conclusion that we came to, which I don't know, there's no proof of it, but seems to be the most accepted reason, is that the seals are from more northern Canada in a place called Newfoundland and Labrador. And there's lots of large icebergs and ice chunks floating around. And this particular season, there was an overpopulation of harp seals. And then when the young seals didn't know how to survive, so they'd go up to the surface to get air, and the combination of water currents and intense winds pushed the ice together and crushed the seals' heads. But at that time of year, we didn't have any large ice chunks in the ocean in this area. So the theory is that they got killed up in Newfoundland, and then strong water currents brought them to the coast of Nova Scotia.
You walked that kilometer. You saw the spread of each one approximately 20 feet apart and in some places closer.
Mm-hmm.
Anything about that walk that could match the hypothesis?
It definitely seemed improbable, and especially given the fact that it has never happened before, not even once. It still has kind of been sitting in the back of my head that it doesn't completely make sense. Yeah.
And has it stopped?
So April 10th, there was a pretty intense storm here, lots of waves and intense winds. And then the storm died off that day, and we heard our neighbor from maybe 3 kilometers down the road had alerted our other neighbor that they had over 20 dead seals on their coastline.
Did you have ice in the water?
No, it would have been too warm for ice in this area.
And so the idea of ice, it could not be explained by ice crushing their heads.
Yeah.
Has anybody in the Sambro area noticed other fresh beheadings, let's say in the last 2 weeks?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Your kilometer is not the total universe of these beheaded seals. There were more. No. There were others.
Yeah, many more. Like altogether, I've probably seen in Sambro over 50. And a lot of the coastline along here isn't very accessible, so I would imagine there's hundreds, if not thousands.